The Sheraton New Orleans has been a great host hotel so far for us this week. We're obviously just getting the week started off. Arizona got in late last night, but certainly want to congratulate the Rattlers on a second year in a row being here at the ArenaBowl. They got to host it at home last season, and I was a part of the broadcast last year, and it was, I haven't seen every single ArenaBowl in person. I've seen a number of them, and I've pretty much, especially throughout this season, gotten to watch some of the old ones on DVD and whatnot as well, and it was most certainly one of the great ones that we've ever had. Obviously was not the way Arizona wanted it to finish, but to be able to, and you see it all the time in the NFL, where if you're the team who doesn't win the championship the previous season, and to be able to make it back to the championship game again the following year, to me in itself is an amazing accomplishment to be able to come back and have, a number of the same players that went through that disappointment last season to be able to make it back again for year two. So Arizona should certainly be commended for that. So in kicking things off here, my name is Anthony Herron. I'm the Vice President of Communications and Branding for the Arena Football League. I'm also a part of the broadcast for Net 10 Arena Football Friday. I've worked in television for a number of years, so that's something I've obviously enjoyed doing. And we haven't had Arizona on the NFL Network yet this season, so it's going to be nice that this is going to be my first time getting to call the game and have the Rattlers on the air this season, and it's in the biggest game of the season. And so I'd like to kick things off by having head coach Kevin Guy come up, say a few words, address the room, and maybe talk about the path that Arizona traveled this season, because it's an impressive one that they've had so far, but I know Coach Guy thinks that it's a path that isn't finished quite yet. So Coach Kevin Guy.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys coming out today. First, I want to thank the City of New Orleans, our sponsors here for the ArenaBowl Net 10 and the Sheraton Hotel. Everything's been first class so far since we got into town, so appreciate everybody being a part of the ArenaBowl. I guess we'll talk a little bit about, last year into this year. I think it's I need to make the point that it's two different football teams. Last year has nothing to do with this year. We had 50% turnover on our roster. We did keep a core group of guys, but two different, it's really about the journey. And we had two different, journeys to the ArenaBowl. Last year, we breezed through the season with no injuries, didn't have a lot of adversity. And we cruised right to the ArenaBowl. And then this year, it seems like we've had a lot more adversity with different things, with like, for example, injuries. Our guys just kept playing. And we got an opportunity to put ourselves in a position to get in the playoffs and compete again to go back to the ArenaBowl. I know that was a goal at the beginning of the year. We felt like it was going to be championship or bust this year. We felt like, we got the players, but I also felt like we did it the right way. We brought back our guys. The first free agents that we wanted to go out and sign was our own. We brought back our, a good group of core guys from last year's team. We went out and picked up some 2 or 3 free agents that I felt like gave us, filled some holes and gave us a little bit of an edge moving forward. We was able to pick up Maurice Purify after our loss to Rod Windsor last year to the NFL. We picked up Maurice in free agency. We picked up Chris Gould, our kicker. We lost Fabrizio Scaccia, who's now kicking for Philadelphia. We lost him to the 49ers last year, and we was able to pick up Chris Gould. I felt like Chris Gould, was a guy that definitely should have been considered for kicker of the year. Led the league in touchbacks. His extra points was right at 90%, and I believe he's like over 90% on his field goals. So he had an outstanding year as a kicker. And I don't know if there is a stat for touchbacks, but if there is one, he might have said it this year, because he just blew every kicker away with the touchbacks this year on kickoffs. Other free agents there was 3 that we went and got. Marquis White. We was able to pick up Marquis White, and as a receiver as well. He got picked up by the Canadian Football League, and then about 7-8 games into the season, he was released, and we was able to get him get them in. So, you know, those three guys from a free agent standpoint happens. And then I felt like we did a great job of going out and finding some rookies that came in and you know, had a great season. We had 2 rookies make All-League this year. Keith Brown, a defensive back, made second-team All-Arena, and Michael Huey was first-team All-Arena on the offensive line. So, you know, we felt like from building the team, we did it the right way, and, you know, we didn't really want to get into picking up too many free agents from other teams because we want to be able to teach our brand of arena football and develop our type of players. So that seems to work for us, and there's no book on what's the right way or wrong way to do it. Philadelphia, they went out and just got a bunch of street free agents, you know, from all over the league. You know, San Jose was another team that did it that way. We just had a different philosophy and went with it, and it seemed to work for us. But we're happy to be back here. Our guys fought all year. I feel like our players deserve all the credit. We tell them first day when they get there that the desert is part of being an Arizona Rattler. We practice outside in the heat. I think it makes us mentally tougher, physically tougher. You know, so when we get in the game, in a tight game, that you know, when you're practicing in the heat, you have to, you get tired and hot, and you have to concentrate. And so they've been able to overcome that, and you know, that's been a part of the Rattlers. And so we take a lot of pride in that. I think when you have a good organization, it starts at the top. Our owner, Ron Schertz, has done an outstanding job since buying the team last year. And since he came in, you can see an immediate change in the atmosphere and the environment for the Arizona Rattlers. You know, and we got great coaches on our staff. Our assistant head coach, Connie Kawhi, has done an outstanding job with our offensive line. 2 years in a row, we've been in the top 2 or 3 in giving up sacks, and we do a lot of 5-step. You know, and I know Philly had a lot to say earlier in the week about their offensive linemen not making All-League, but they really run the ball and do a lot of 3-step, where we do a lot of 5-step, and we had 2 guys make all conference. So, you know, I feel like our guys have been put in a position where they got to go out and earn that offensive line first team All-Arena. We also, Kyle Young was offensive lineman of the year this year. He got voted. So these guys had an outstanding year. Omar Smith, our defensive coordinator, has done an outstanding job. 2 years in a row, we finished in second in scoring defense in the league. He's done an outstanding job with the defense, with our secondary. Every year, you know, since we've had Omar, we've had defensive backs that made All-League. And, you know, so we've felt pretty good about the people that we got around in our organization. So, you know, in terms of the journey this year, you know, it's been an up and down season. You know, we had a lot of injuries early in the season. We weren't playing our best football, and then as the season went on, we got some guys back. We started developing chemistry because, like I said earlier, we had 50% turnover. And then by the end of the season, you know, we were playing pretty good football. And then we had, you know, right at the end of the season, we had another rash of injuries. Wasn't playing so hot on offense. But once we started getting some guys back lined up, then, you know, we was able to put up, you know, 75 points like we did last week. So, you know, we're looking forward to the, you know, a great Arena Bowl. It's 2 good football teams going against each other. And, you know, Doug Plank's done a great job up there in his first year with Philadelphia. I want to congratulate those guys for making it to the Arena Bowl as well, and we're looking for a great game. I'm sure it's going to be good for the Arena Football League. Okay, I'll open the floor for any questions.
You want to introduce you guys up here too, Coach?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me introduce our players. Keith Brown, he was second team All-Arena this year as a rookie. He's out of Texas A&M, has done an outstanding job for us. Cliff Dukes, oh, I'm sorry, he was one of the other guys that we picked. We actually didn't pick him up in free agency. We was able to pull off a trade with Kansas City to be able to pick up Cliff Dukes to bolster our pass rush. Cliff Dukes was the defensive lineman of the year last year for the whole league. He's done an outstanding job for us this year. And then Nick Davila, our quarterback. Nick was the MVP of the league last year. Had another great year this season. one of our leaders on the football team, and we're also happy to have him done an awesome job. And then Maurice Purify we picked up in free agency. He's been a great fit for us, especially for the position that he plays in our offense, and he's made a lot of big plays for us. So these guys have had outstanding years, and then also they're teammates, and we can pull any of these guys up here that you want to talk to, but these guys deserve all the credit while we're sitting here today.
Coach, you let 50% of your team go, basically. You picked up another 50%. You're a little surprised to be here.
No, in this game, it's a small roster. So if you got the right players at the right spot, our philosophy is to build the team down the middle. You could go out and find good perimeter players, and we've been able to do that. And that's not, I'm not trying to short the other positions, but you want to be strong up the middle anytime you're building a football team. And if you look right down the middle of our team, we've had some. Another guy we left out was Odie Armstrong, our fullback. He was second team All-League this year. He had an outstanding job. But if you look down the middle, our fullback, our center was the offensive lineman of the year. Our fullback was second team All-Arena. Our quarterback has been strong for us, since he's got to the Arizona Rattlers. And then you go to defense, our nose guard, Antaj Hawthorne. I know Philly got their say in about who didn't make it. I mean, to me, there's not a better nose guard in the game playing in arena football. Our Mac linebacker, Tyree Glasper, very physical. Virgil Gray plays our safety spot. I mean, so if you look right down the middle, then you got the other spot that we really look at that we put a lot of weight on is our kicker. I mean, he's responsible for a lot of points and onside kicks and kickoffs. So, and then you take all the other positions and you start, plugging those guys in, and you can develop a pretty good football team. But I wasn't surprised, because we had a good group of core guys. And then, and also I think it says something about our coaching staff. In this model, you have to develop football players. And people's made the statement all year long that we have a bunch of veterans. I mean, we've got a lot of young guys on our football team. So, I'm sure after this season we're going to have to turn some spots over as well. Some guys leave for free agency. Some guys decide not to play anymore. That's just the model that we play in right now.
After y'all were here about 6-7 weeks ago, after the game, I asked Coach O'Hara, would you be surprised to see them back? So you got a prediction there. He knew you guys were coming back.
Yeah, no, me and Pat, we were teammates back in 1999 with Orlando Predators. We went to the ArenaBowl that year, and Pat's a solid guy. I think he's a guy that definitely we voted for him. Each coach gets 3 votes for Coach of the Year. He was definitely in my top 3 for him to come in and get this organization back in the playoffs. I think he did an outstanding job down here this year.
Yeah, that was more of a prediction on you guys. How well you all play.
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Pat talk from time to time, so he's aware of, and he's been around the league a long time. He knows, you got to have players to win. And he knows, that we've got some good players. So, I appreciate that from Pat. I think I saw that interview, so I do remember him saying that.
Talk about Philadelphia, what you know about them. What scares you?
Well, we're not scared. Let's be clear about that. To be honest, we haven't seen too much of Philadelphia all year long. I mean, this week we haven't played them, haven't seen too much film on them throughout the season. Through 18 weeks of playing, we've saw maybe 1 or 2 films, the whole season. So, and because we were playing another team, really wasn't concentrating on what they were doing. This week we went back, we've downloaded pretty much every game they've played, and started looking at it and looking at the matchups. I mean, they've done a great job to put themselves in a position to be back here. I mean, Doug Plank's went in there, and I don't think that they didn't make the playoffs last year, so he's done a great job of getting them into the playoffs, and his leadership. They went about building their team a little different. They were very aggressive on street free agents in our league, and went and picked them up. And, you know, and he got those guys gelling, you know. So, you know, I know there was a lot of predictions that, you know, they were pretty much crowned before the season started. So, you know, we'll find out if that's the case Friday night.
Question in the back of the room.
What's the curfew for these guys here?
Tonight, it'll be midnight, and then tomorrow night it'll be 11 o'clock. So we came down here to play a championship game. We'll check the city out when the season's over.
Nick, if I can, just last year's loss to the ArenaBowl, how much of a motivation has that served for you and the guys that were part of this last year for the round?
You know, like Coach said earlier, you know, it's a whole different team. You know, some of the players that were on the team last year, you know, when you go to a championship game and you lose, you know, you only play this game to win a championship. So whenever you get opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. And so that's what we're going to try to do.
Maurice and Ellen, you can answer this. Just playing in the national conference, you got into that conference, the tough road you had to get here, and the 2 close games to get here. Do you feel like that gives you an advantage and prepares you very well for this game?
I definitely think it prepared us well. Now we're battle tested. We've been down in the 4th quarter and came back. Coach Guy brought it to our attention in the beginning of the year, or towards the middle of the year. People thought we were front runners, and I think the game last week let everybody know that through adversity we can come back and win, and that we're in every game at all times.
And the depth of the conference, guys, you feel like our conference really
I do. I do too. I mean, we've been working hard since we started. So you know, hard work pays off, and we're just happy to be here.
You know, talking about the conferences, I know there's been a lot of talk about that. You know, one side stronger than the other. I mean, we do feel like we play in the best division in arena football. That being said, this is 2 years in a row that we actually swept the other conference in regular season, but didn't win the ArenaBowl. So we get another crack at that. But our division was very strong. You throw in San Antonio, Chicago. I mean, those 2 teams are very good, and you know, but being in this league 17 years, I've seen that swing from year to year, so I don't really put too much thought into that.
For Coach and for Nick, what was that feeling like walking off the field last year, losing on the last play? Is that something that has stuck with you up until now?
You want to take it first? Go ahead, Nick.
I mean, when you play this game, you know, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. Yeah, it didn't feel good, but, you know, you can't worry about the past. You can't worry about the future. All you got to worry about is the present. And, you know, we're here and we're getting ready to play another good team in Philadelphia. So that's my take on it.
My feeling was, what the hell just happened? So, that was pretty much my feeling on it. You know, we had called a timeout before that play. Felt like we had everybody on the same page, and just didn't work out that way. So, you know, we waited to see how they lined up, called a timeout. Felt like we had them in the, you know, we knew exactly what play they were fixing to run by the formation and motion that they lined up in, and we just didn't finish. And, you know, that's been something we've been talking about all season long, is finishing. We're back here and we get another opportunity to finish.
Coach, will you practice outside this week in New Orleans? Will you be outside?
Well, we're in the arena today. We got in last night. We practiced Monday and Tuesday back in Arizona in the desert. So, you know, because it was such a short turnaround, we played Saturday night. I think Philly played Friday night, you know, so they had a little bit more time. But, you know, we've got 6 days to turn around. So we had some issues trying to book flights that quick, and, you know, so we got in last night. So, but we were able to prepare at our place for Monday and Tuesday, get in our offense and defensive days. Today will be a red zone practice, and then tomorrow our walkthrough. So we'll be in the arena the rest of the week.
Does the extra day make a difference to you?
No, you know, Jacksonville last year played on a Monday night, turned around and beat us on a Friday night. So, no, I don't really read too much into that either. It's just like this, you know, everybody's been talking about this time difference that, you know, we're kicking off at 9:30 and, you know, for Philadelphia it's 10:30. Well, you know, last year we had to kick off at 5 o'clock and it was 8 o'clock for Jacksonville, which is more normal time for them. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when you get to a championship game, no matter what time, and plus we're down here for 2 or 3 days, everybody should adapt to the time. We're only talking 1 hour difference for them and 2 hour difference for us, so it's not that big of a deal. This is a great city to play a game in, you know, so late at night, I don't think that's going to affect us at all.